Hello and welcome to the Friday Night Craft and Chill. So, yeah, I have no idea what we're doing tonight. This is probably the least prepared, like literally the least prepared I've been in a long time. I have random 3D printed bits I've been working on. I've been having technical difficulties with my 3D printer in an inopportune moment. So my brain is kind of in 3D printing mode, not so much in crafting mode at the moment. But yeah, so I could probably get the chill part down. I was falling asleep earlier, drinking some tea here, trying to wake up a little. Hope everyone is doing well. So let me see, what do I have? I can just maybe putter around a little bit here. I had to hit start on this because it was just not going to start otherwise. I had clutter all over the desk here. Was not ready to go. Where is my knife? See, I don't even know where my X-Acto knife is. Oh, there we go. So we're just going to chill for a little bit. It's going to be probably a little heavier on the chill than the craft, because I have no idea what the heck I'm doing right now. We got these little bits here too that we did last week, all these little let me pull this up here so I can see what the heck I'm looking at. There we go. All these little bits we did last week. Came out pretty good. Funky little bits. Fat Red Foo, what's up, Fat Red? How you doing? GI Jetman, how you doing, GI Jetman? So yeah, I was just saying, I am even less well planned than I normally am, because I just been having some technical difficulties with 3D printer. And that's kind of been what my mind has been on today, aside from work. So not super sure what the heck I'm crafting. Worked all week and I do not have jury duty on Monday. Well, that's good. No jury duty is a good thing, I guess. I feel like that has to be from a TV or something. What's up with my printer? So the printer is working. It seems to be printing okay, except for when it's doing filament swaps on the multicolor is causing some issues. Well, I'm actually having problems with several of my 3D printers all at the same time, because that's usually how things go. But they're different problems. But the main one I was having yesterday is, let's see, so you can see why do I have balloons? Oh, I must have updated my iOS or something. I didn't even realize it. Okay, so you see there the black part printed inside the red and how it's nice and smooth, has a pretty nice appearance. I mean, for a 3D print, it looks pretty good. Well, that's not what it's doing anymore. Now we're getting, let me see what I got. It's gotten progressively worse. So here. See the inside, how it's got all those bubbles? It just kind of looks kind of nasty. Not pretty, not smooth. They're all coming out like that. See the black inside there? It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, could probably get away with it, but I don't like it. And I think it's getting progressively worse. I tried it in another color. I don't know if you could see it on here, but it's doing the same thing. So, yeah, it does look like rivets or rusted up area, right? So, I mean, you could kind of pass it off and say, you know, whatever, it's just some damage. But I'm going for uniformity because I want to make a bunch of these, and I would rather not have some look okay and some not. So it's a little annoying. And also, as this gets progressively worse, you have no idea. Whatever's causing that problem might cause additional problems. And it's even on, it was having a harder time in the narrower surfaces like this, but it was having no problems on this. But now it's starting to show up on the broader surfaces a little bit too. And that printer is usually like super clean. So I contacted my my rep. I sent them an email, so we'll see what they say. All right, let me take a look at the chat here. There's a lot of people came in. We got Kenzo's Creation. Kenny, how you doing? Yo, Radnam. Ed is here. What's up, Ed? Action Joe Figs, how you doing? So, Ed, this is not it, but I was just playing around with some stuff. It looks like a little mini Death Star. But yeah, I was just toying around, and I was like, let me just go ahead and print that and see what it looks like. I needed to up the polygons on the round part, but yeah, just a little dude. I'm gonna continue on. I want more details and some other stuff. So I don't know. It was just a warm up. I feel like any builder would be okay with the current variants so long as it didn't become obviously terrible. Fat Red, that might be perhaps true somewhat for people who are builders, but people who are buying a toy or something like, you know, for their stuff that is not, they might not. They might be like, well, this is kind of a janky print. And although a lot of people might not care, I would care. So if there's no other option and the print quality, this is the problem with 5 years ago with the printers the way that they were then, I would not have cared at all. I would have been so happy that it could have done multicolor. I would have been, you know, dancing in the streets. But now with, you know, I know what this particular machine can achieve. I don't want that if possible. But we'll see. We'll see what comes about. I might have to get another printer in addition to this one to do what I'm thinking about doing, just because it sucks not having any redundancy in that portion of it. Because I can do monocolor prints on other printers, but I can't do the detailed multicolor prints. Happy to play test your playset. Right on. Feel you on that though, right? Yeah, right, Kenny? I mean, Kenzo, it's... Yeah. You know, 3D printers are... And dude, it wasn't just that one. I've had problems on... Some measure of problem on all 3 of my functioning FDM printers right now. I have 4, but I'm not going to count the Ender because it's out of commission as far as I'm concerned for doing any kind of actual project I'm working on. It's just too old and slow. It was a great printer, but I don't feel like messing with it anymore. Yeah, every single printer is having a problem right now. The Bamboo A1 Mini, I have the multicolor AMS hooked up to it and it works, but it's having some bed adhesion problems with the shapes that I'm doing, and I think it might be because in the room I have it in, the air conditioning bounces off a wall and it's like funneling down and maybe hitting the side of it, so it's making the corners come up on the bed because it's cooling too fast, I think. I don't know. My big printer, the Elegoo, we're just having some technical difficulties, but they're helping me out with support on that. That was probably my fault. I had some stuff around it, a cable got yoinked, and I think it pulled the head out of alignment. This one, I think, is just worn down, the Bamboo X1C, because I've just used it to death because it's awesome. And for whatever the reason is, it's not wanting to switch the filaments cleanly anymore. Like, I don't know, it's so strange. Here, I'll show you an example. So like on one of these, no problem. No problem at all. No bubbling, no nothing. And that was printed after this. Bubbling, problems, jankiness. You know, why? The other one is finer detail. It should be harder, but it's not. So it's something about switching the colors. You know, maybe it's having it's not doing the purge as well between colors, but that shouldn't leave an uneven surface like that. The surface still should be smooth, so I don't know what the heck is going on. It's quite annoying. In single color, it comes out smooth. An environmental issue on all of them? I don't think so, Fat Red. The Bamboo X1C is basically immune to environmental issues because it's fully enclosed. That's Fat Red. That's just 3D printing, dude. That's just how 3D printers are. They'll just gang up on you, dude. That's how they are. That's seriously how it goes. Action Joe Fig says, I've only had Elegoo printers, except for my Anycubic resin. Okay. Multicolor is pretty cool. May have to look into it further. Currently print mono only. So Action Joe Figs, multicolor is cool, but is stupidly slow and takes an enormous amount of filament to do the same job. I mean, ridiculous. So, like this little guy right here is a 39-minute print on the bamboo. And this was like, you know, that's with the warm-up and the calibration routine, which is probably about, I don't know, 10 to 12 minutes of that 39 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes. When I made this multicolor, and I made the panels on the side a different color, the ring in the middle here a different color, and the eye a different color, it became a 3-hour and 40-minute print from 39 minutes. And the amount of filament, because if it's got to go up in layers and keep changing the color, it's got to purge that nozzle out every single layer, and it creates crazy amounts of waste. So that's why when I'm designing my stuff like this, I make it just, you know, one layer where it's going to be, so it's just one change. You know, maybe it does like 2 or 3 layers to get the color in deep, but it's concentrated and not going up the whole face of the model. Otherwise, forget about it. Yeah, the time frame is huge. Hey, what's up, Tony? I was gonna get a printer next month. Maybe I'll wait. G.I. Jetman, you know, they're great. They're great, but understand that 3D printing is another hobby. It's a whole other hobby besides making dioramas or toy collecting or whatever. It's going to take up time. There's going to be some learning curve issues, and sometimes you're going to be pulling your hair out, sometimes you're not. It's a machine that will break down occasionally. Some of them, like the bamboo stuff, has a lot of the kinks worked out. They don't break down as much, and the parts are readily available right now. But yeah, it is what it is. What was the other thing? Need to set up 2 of those test vent things instead of just one per color transition. Oh, you mean a tower? The slicer program automatically makes the tower. I don't do that. Yeah, it automatically generates it. Oh boy, that's a long time. Yeah. Yeah, so Action Joe Figs, that's actually kind of what this is to address that, right? Because if I print this little piece in multicolor, especially if I do a lot of them, it's not that long. And then I can print this in monocolor on a monocolor printer. And then I take this piece here and stick it in there, hopefully. And then bam, we have a somewhat multicolor print, you know, with a pop of things. That's what I was thinking when I made this, I don't know, a week or 2 ago. I was like, all right, how can I use my monocolor printer and minimize the amount of time on the multicolor printer but still have some multicolorness to it? And I think that worked out pretty decent. What's going on, Troy? Where's Troy? Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? My dudes. Elegoos have been pretty reliable, knock on wood, hoping I didn't jinx myself. Yeah. It comes in waves. So I've had no problems with the bamboo. None. But I've been running the crap out of it, and it's not surprising that, you know, it needs a little TLC. There are lots of options coming on the market right now that are doing the multicolor print. I mean, they got one with Anycubic. Was it the Cobra? And it's pretty reasonably priced. Significantly cheaper than the Bamboo. The comparable machine, anyway. Yeah, it's just frustrating. There's also the, what is it? Elegoo just came out with one. They don't have the multicolor system set up yet. Was it the Centauri, I think? It looks like all these, I don't want to call them Bamboo clones, but they kind of are. There's lots of companies doing the enclosed Core XY machines now instead of the old school bed slingers, which is, you know, for those that don't know, the most of the older 3D printers, the bed moves back and forth while it's printing. But like these machines, the bed doesn't move. There's, you know, rods inside that moves the head, so the whole machine stays still and it creates less vibration. And generally, I think the prints come out cleaner on that type of machine. Also, it's easier to put in an enclosure because on the bed, I mean, the bed flies like, you know, on my Elegoo, because it's a big one, it's flying like, you know, 12 or 13, 14 inches this way and that way as it's going. You have to make sure it has clearance. They do a lot of that so you can use stuff that has a bad smell, right? Sort of. And close the doors. It's supposed to work that way, Kenzo. And there is, these have a carbon filter inside. Mine needs to be changed, for sure, and I haven't. But I would say you'd still want some ventilation. You know, I haven't run carbon filament through there, and I haven't done ABS, and those are the really stinky ones. So I stick to PLA. I do some PETG. But yeah, the enclosures make it to where you can, it's more manageable to do those smellier ones for sure. Since I teach and have a 3D club at my school, we have some MakerBots, and oh boy, dude, I wanted a MakerBot so bad, but you know, they were, I think they started at $1,500 when I was looking at them, maybe $2,000. I don't know. It was a lot, but it was the kit. You know, you've seen them. I mean, I'm assuming you have the same ones I'm thinking of, and they didn't change. Maybe they evolved, but the MakerBots, they were laser cut wood kits that you would put together and with the electronics, and yeah, that was something. But that's all there was. And then the Creality printers came out. The Ender 3, man. I remember I'm looking at MakerBot and I was like, alright, I can't afford this. And a couple of years later, I just happened to look back at 3D printing again. And it was the first year that the Ender 3 came out. And I was like, wow, $200? What is this Ender thing? I mean, this has got to be a piece of crap, right? And I bought one. And it was amazing. Worked great. Alright, what the hell am I going to paint? I'll paint something. I almost thought about doing like a desk cleaning stream because I had so much stuff, but I cleared off most of it. We're a complete hot mess today. that. Let's see. The MakerBots we have are pretty old and slow. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I started looking at 3D printing in, I think it was 2013 or 2012. I think it was 2012. And I remember that year, I was starting to save up a little bit of money, and a few years prior to that, I was really like kind of a financial wreck. So at that point, I was kind of leveled out, and I was like, all right, maybe I need to start looking at something to invest in, or what am I going to pay attention to over the next few years? And I remember I wrote down like the two things I was really interested in at that year was Bitcoin and 3D printing. And so I tried to, and I had maybe, I don't know, I think I had about $10,000 actually saved up. And this is in Texas at that time. You know, you could get an apartment for about $500. Mine was a little bit more than that, but it was very, very different expense-wise. So I was like, all right, this Bitcoin stuff looks really cool, and I want to invest maybe in a 3D printing stock or something like that, right? I couldn't figure out any 3D printing stocks because I don't think there was any. They were all private companies. And I didn't feel like popping that kind of money for the Ultimaker at that time. So I was looking at the Bitcoin, and I was going to just buy like $5,000 or $10,000 in Bitcoin. But in order to do it at the time, and Bitcoin was, I don't even know how much it was. I feel like it was $1 or something. It was very low. At the time, the only way you could buy that was you had to send a money order to some dude in New York City that would put it on the exchange, which was Mt. Gox at the time, which got closed down for fraud. But I would have moved it off there. I would have put it in, personal storage. But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. I never did that because it was just too sketchy. And I did end up buying a Bitcoin miner. It was a Butterfly Labs. I know you guys probably don't know much about this stuff, but it was saving money that you speak of. Yeah, right? It's the thing that people that don't buy toys do, I guess, Kenzo. I can't do it anymore. Like, has been a non-issue the past 5 or 6 years with the way the economy and all the expenses and everything has been going. But there was a time there where I went monk mode, you know. I was living off of ramen noodles and walking and no expenses whatsoever, no additional expenses. Where was I? Bitcoin, Mt. Gox, Butterfly Labs. So I bought this jalapeno 5 gigawatt or gigahertz, whatever, miner. And might have been gigabit, probably gigabit. So we had to wait months for this thing. It was a whole debacle. I got mine. I paid, I think it was $250 for it at the time. I ran it for maybe about a week and a half. And I was like, whatever. I'm looking at the account. I gained like, I don't remember, it was like maybe $4 in Bitcoin or something like that, $3 or $4. 2 or 3, something really small, and I was looking on eBay, and they were going for $980 or something. So I said, screw it, I'm just gonna flip it and sell it. So I sold the miner. I paid like $280, sold it for like $980. Was pretty happy. Didn't think about Bitcoin ever again until, it started to blow up again. Maybe it was 2017. It was one of those years and years later. And if I would have ran that miner instead of selling it, I probably would have had like $500,000 in Bitcoin just from that stupid thing. I think it might have been like 2021. I found that account that I mined that few dollars because I never cashed it out, and that $2 or $3 was like $400 something. So yeah, Bitcoin, yay. Butterfly Labs, yeah, Butterfly Labs. It was the jalapeno 5 gigabit. And that was, it's an ASIC, which was the first generation of chips specifically made for mining crypto. Before that, you would use your CPU, and then they realized your graphics card was better. And then they went through all the stages. I did do Ethereum mining for a while, which you can't do anymore. But it was just a mess. You know, you have a server, it's running in your... I had it in my apartment. It made the stuff hot, you know, because I had 5 or 6 graphics cards running in there. It would make the room, like, feel like an oven, so... Good times. It was a fun experiment. Okay, painted something. What am I gonna paint? I don't even have anything to paint. I gotta paint the little lights. That's what we're doing. Sure, we'll do that. While I figure out what the heck am I gonna do tonight, guys? What am I gonna do tonight? I was thinking, like, is there any way I can get a camera on me changing the hot end on my printer? And it's like, it's just not very easy to do. Maybe blue. So, anyone working on any projects this week? I know Ed's got something he's been working on. I don't know if he's been showing it yet or not. Vine Jungle Figure Factory. I have a monster camp this weekend teaching people how to make latex masks. That's cool. Sounds cool, man. Ed says, yes, I haven't shown it yet. Alright. Fat Ray did a tutorial on his slow fans on a YouTube channel. Quick and dirty. Okay. I'll check that out, Fat Ray. That's cool. Vine Jungle already saw that. Action Joe Figs. I 3D printed a G.I. Joe Trouble Bubble and modified it into a Walker-type vehicle in 1/6 scale. So you printed a 1/6 scale Trouble Bubble? I don't think I've seen one that big before. That's pretty cool. Or are you, like, messing with the scales, or it was 1/6? Just finished a Dwarf Spider Droid 112. I don't know what a Dwarf Spider Droid is. I feel like I'd probably know it if I saw it. Still working on Dr. Mindbender Lab, right on. Going through a lot mentally. Yeah, I'm going through some mind bending lately. That happens, man. Have it on video? Cool. Huh, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Is anybody in here planning on going to any of the upcoming, like, Joe Fest or DFW Joe or any of those shows? Man, what color is that? That's pavement. Post it on your channel. Okay. Working on Queen Marlena's ship she used to fly to Eternia when she was exploring from Earth. That's neat. Where are you finding these models, Kenzo? Action Joe Figs, I will be at DFW in June. Alright. G.I. Joe show in June. You going to both of them? Is that what you're saying? Colts 3D. Yurko designed it. Okay. Nice. Going to a K9 show Sunday. I don't know what a K9 show is unless you're talking about dogs, man, but... Dora Cost. Okay. Saying hi, heading to bed now, and I'm currently working on my custom Stephen King's Pennywise clown. Good night, guys. Good night, Thor. Good night, Thor. Have some pleasant dreams of Pennywise. Alright, so you guys are working on all kinds of stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm glad someone around here has a plan, because I certainly don't. Police dog show. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, that sounds like it would actually be pretty interesting. Pretty neat to watch. DFW G.I. Joe show at the end of June. Cool, very cool. Kenzo's ship is pretty sweet. G.I. Jetman, I have no doubt. Kenzo is a masochist, or whichever one tortures yourself, and he always picks the absolute most insane models to try and put together and print on his 3D printers, so I'm sure it looks great. VJFF, cool. There are two manufacturer styles. One is the very loud one, and the other is quiet if you have metal knobs on the inside when you open it. I'm sure that does make some kind of sense, Fat Red, if you watch the video. It's the louder one. Okay, there we go. There's the rest of the sentence. Sweet. Be a local toy show tomorrow morning. It's here in San Antonio. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's cool. They have some of those local ones here too sometimes. I used to just go and walk through them and just peruse. It's kind of amazing I haven't bought a ton of Usually what I end up wanting to buy is G1 Transformers when I'm at those things, but I haven't done it. The only thing I end up usually buying is video games. If I see some retro games like some Nintendo NES or SNES or anything like that, if the price is right, I usually end up buying a couple. This is Cardinal Red. That's good, man. There's really nothing more to do here with that. I could up the detail level a little bit. Add a little bit of... You know, where's that silver at? I want to do that. Hold on. Sadomasochist to self-torture. There you go. Thank you very much, Ed. I should have known you would know the definition for that. Someday I'd like to print a 1/12 scale G.I. Joe headquarters. That would be cool. That would be cool. I like that model, and I think about it a lot when I've made other things that I've made. I don't know if you saw the one with the 2 turrets that I did. But I was kind of vaguely thinking about that. And I'm thinking about designing something similar to maybe like the checkpoint, like the tower in the G.I. Joe checkpoint. I don't know, it's not going to be exactly like that, but I don't know, there's something about... I like those little play sets. They just have a few accessories, and I don't know, those kinds of sets when I was a kid were really fun. The big diorama things that were just like a giant play set was cool, but just the ones that, you know, when your parents didn't... You couldn't get them to spend a ton of money, but they would maybe get you a little something. You could get those kinds of play sets, and those were pretty cool. Yeah, right. I mean, if I ever left Texas, I would consider it, but I can't really go anywhere because I don't have anyone to watch Mom, so it makes doing that pretty difficult right now. But maybe someday. Maybe someday. I gathered all the supplies to make a version of the HYVE playset from Sectors. Don't know that one. Sector sounds really familiar, but I can't remember it. Several custom spaceships I'm working on. You know, Troy, I really want to do some spaceships, but they're just huge projects. There are some awesome models from The Expanse. But now that I've started on this new project I'm working on, it's not happening. Not for a while. So, you know, it is what it is. I feel like a bigger brush would be better. Great toy line from the 80s. Okay, okay. G.I. Jetman, I have a 1/12 scale Checkpoint Alpha that I bought from someone. Just don't have the stickers for it. Nice. Numa City and Real Dead Fish. Autocorrect fatality. I didn't see it, Kenzo, but I'm sure it was funny. Hey, what's up, Eduardo? Okay, yeah, Troy, those Buzz Lightyear ships, it's funny, I think a lot of people saw those when they came out and just, because as soon as I saw them, you know, like the week that they hit the shelves in Walmart, I was like, man, those have some really nice modeling done on those ships. Like the shapes are nice, it just, the details are great, they look good. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you're doing that. Ooh. $20? That's pretty strong, Kenzo. Yeah, I mean, any of that stuff, right? You just hit it with a can of spray paint and then go over it after and paint it up, and it's pretty cool. Gang, I'm hitting the shower and bed. Long day teaching tomorrow. Right on, man. You have a good night. Pops a little bit more, I think, with the lines around it. Panel lines, or whatever you want to call them. Highlights. Like right there around the edge of the darker gray. Almost like a cell-shaded look, kind of, sort of. Dr. Pepper Blackberry, has anyone tried it? No, I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know if I like the sound of that, but I do like blackberry. G.I. Jetman, that's not his backyard, that's his house. Ed lives in the forest. Just in case you didn't know that. He's definitely not a Sasquatch. Okay. All right, we need a plan here. What's the plan? Let's see. Let's take a look at this 3D printer if I'm gonna cry here in a minute. Now those monocolor prints seem to still be doing okay, which makes absolutely no sense to me. It's like, why would it be totally smooth monocolor and then just having all these issues with the multicolor? It's got to be something to do with... It's the same type of filament, the temperature's the same. I don't know, it's got to be something to do with the purging of the colors, but that doesn't really make sense. It shouldn't be bumpy, it would just be different color. I don't get it. I don't get it. Can these guys even sit? Not really, huh? There's no time for sitting around for the old Delta 17 squad. I mean, he looks like he's taking a poop. He's got like that poop squat. I don't know. Will that even look like this? I mean, he's kind of got like that lean back sit. Like the way people used to drive their cars in the 90s, listening to, you know, Naughty by Nature or something, whatever the heck they were listening to. The poop squat, yeah. The gold crown air freshener on the dash, right? And the, what was that? The, like a purple bag, the crushed velvet bag of Crown Royal, like hanging from the freaking rearview mirror. What else? We're going to the hot wire cam, I think. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. totally get that wrong? I think I screwed that up. Boom! I screwed that up. Okay, that's cool. Not perfect! Alright, what can we do with that? There's gotta be there's gotta be a diamond in the rough here. Let's see. We tilt it a little bit this way. Let's do it. Was this the droid we were looking for? This is gonna get worse. It's worse. What's going on, dude? My brain is not working with these angles right now. There we go. Now we got it. Now we got what we're looking for. Woohoo! Watch, it's gonna be better than if I freaking planned it. Yep, there it goes. It's gonna look good. Alright, let's cut this top down a little. Trim that bad boy. We'll throw some funky corners on there. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Almost burnt my hand there, but still doing good. Okay. What the heck else is this thing? It's not a vehicle, I don't think. Could be a vehicle. See, it's all janky. Super janky. Alright. That's less janky. Glue this together and we will come back to that. We need to warm up the hot glue gun is what we're going to need to do. Let's get the hot glue gun going. What are you guys saying? Anyone laughing? Who's laughing? Love my hot foam cutter. Yep, good stuff. Are those the 10 Commandment tablets behind the wire cutter, or just two? Those are the 10 Commandments. They certainly are, Ed. Building with wood lately. Wood is great, honestly, Bat Red. It's just noisy and dusty. But if you get a couple of small tools, wood is amazing. These things, if you're using popsicle sticks, super cool. You get like a little mini miter saw, all the little power tools you can get that are, you know, maybe $60 or $50 instead of spending like $200 on a full-size one, but makes things way easier. Caffeine, pill form. I try not to do too much caffeine anymore. The usual hecklers. Yeah, those are cool. Miter shears. I'm sure I've talked about them a million times on the show. All right, hot glue gun. Okay. And yeah, as soon as I stop doing those angles on the foam cutter, it gets very difficult for my brain to think about what it needs to be in order for it to line up correctly. But because I remember there was a point where I was doing it so much that I could just like, all right, it's got to be this, got to be that, and it would just make sense every time. But I'm sure that if I started doing these a little bit more again, it would happen. Or I'm just getting old and senile, which is a distinct possibility. There's going to need to be like a control panel in here too. Can't forget about that. Saw a mini lathe on Amazon that looked really cool. Yeah, I've thought about a lathe. Yeah. Everything looks cool, man. That's the problem. Every single thing looks cool to me. I don't have sandpaper? What? This is not going to work. Let's see. I should just recut it on the foam cutter. I'm going to be stubborn. It's probably alright. Probably alright. I need a cutting mat. What am I doing? Get on here. Get on here. Man, we're chaotic today, huh? Good stuff. Is that too low? That might be too low. Oh, this was the one I was doing. That's why. Derp. Derp. Let's not grab that with my hand. Dremel stopped working. Have to get. I don't even know how many Dremels. I don't even know. I have at least 3 Dremels, and then another 2 or 3 non-Dremel Dremels. A lot of Dremels. Lot of Dremels. And I hardly ever use them anymore. I have a benchtop drill press downstairs. Very, very handy. It was one of the first. Yeah, it was one of the first bench tools I got. Bought it off a guy at work. I don't know how long ago. Maybe 15 years ago or more. Yeah, it was a while ago. I mean, I had a scroll saw. I have the same scroll saw I've had since 1998 or 99. I think it was 98. Yeah, that's probably the oldest functioning tool that I bought personally and still have. But aside from that, yeah, that drill press was probably one of the first things I got. Yeah, Dremels, man, you have to really do something to them usually to get them to stop working. They last quite some time. Now, I had one of those wireless ones, cordless ones, and eventually the battery stopped. Wouldn't charge right. Wouldn't hold a charge, but yeah, I have one of the ones, I'm pretty sure it's still hanging up on my workbench downstairs, where it's got like the flexi shaft, so it just hangs on the wall, and I have the shaft, the rotary part that comes down you can use. It's really handy. Yeah, that's the drill press is way better for that, no doubt. No doubt. You can get you don't even need the whole drill press with miniatures though, because you can get like the drill press vise, and they make them specifically for dollhouse, like for miniatures, I think. And you could just put the miniature in there and then use like a little hand drill. A Dremel would probably be easier. But once you have the piece held in that vise, it's not that hard to get a precise placement of your drill hole. No. No, I don't. I've never really been on the jig thing, man. I know people are like, the jigs are so good, and I just, every time I try to use one for a foam cutter, it just sucks. I know it's me, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that, dude. I would... Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Should they be like that, or they need to be turned? I feel like they need to be on an angle, but we're not going to do an angle, so let's just see what it looks like without the angle. That's too low. Okay, maybe that's how we'll do it. Yeah, that'll make more sense. I need more hot glue. Second that, hate jigs for my foam cutter. Yeah, you know, they look really cool, and I'm seeing people make some really amazing stuff with that. I always feel like I would want to get better at freehand with the foam cutter. I'm not saying that, you know, it's a hot wire foam cutting table is designed to be not freehand, right? The whole thought process, it's more, you know, an engineered surface versus crazy wibbly wobbly stuff. But I don't know, I want to be better at cutting freehand with it, so I'm fine with that. If I did not have a 3D printer available or a laser cutter available, and I was dying to have exactly precise, which you can't really get super precise with foam, but as precise as you could get, then maybe I'd try a little bit more. But I have a horrible time with it, man. I'm just like a yutz with it for some reason. Maybe I have my heat up too high or whatever, but it never goes well for me. The way I am building this, it would surprise me if the whole thing did not fall apart. We're just gonna like keep going and just add trim to this thing until it doesn't look completely ridiculous. That's what we're gonna do. I never make the same shape more than once or twice, so a jig would be worthless. Yeah, I mean, the jig is like almost an architectural design, kind of. They work really well, right? Like the columns and stuff like that. That was really, like, I think a thought process more for making Dungeons and Dragons stuff. But, you know, there's basic shapes that you can use over and over again in lots of different designs. A circle cutter jig is amazing. I'm going to glue my hand here. A circle cutting jig is amazing for a hot wire foam cutter. And I have a very rudimentary one I think I showed before. Because you can't cut a circle without one. Try and make some columns, Ed. Columns are awesome. Just start cutting a bunch of smaller circles and stacking them on top of each other. You'll enjoy that. G.I. Jetman? Yeah, something like that. So, I doubt I'll make more than one of them, but in my head I'm seeing this unit and like several of them in an area, you know, where there's like lower ranks or grunts in there, like monitoring stuff, and like an officer walking back and forth, that kind of thing, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I mean, obviously I could 3D print better monitors than this, but we're doing foam because, I don't know, that's all I just doing foam. We're doing foam. The troopers powering up the Death Star. Yeah, that fits too. Now they will see the power of this fully operational battle station. Does anyone remember, or have any of you guys seen the YouTube series? It was like the old, original YouTube stuff of Chad Vader. He was like Darth Vader's cousin or something. He was a retail manager. He was like an assistant manager at like a Kroger or Walmart or something. Those skits were very good. I miss old YouTube. Old YouTube was so much fun. Because people were just having fun, you know? No one thought about money. It was just... couldn't make any money on it, really. I don't know where it was filmed, Fat Red, but yeah, Chad Vader. That was super good. Wow, that's a deep YouTube cut. Yeah, Chad Vader powering up the fully operational laser checkout system. That's what made me think of it. Yeah, that's a good one. Take care, Troy. Have a good night. These frame pieces suck that I cut. Could cut more, but I don't think we're gonna do that. We're just gonna go with it. Embrace the jankiness. Next to the crappy gas station I worked at back in the day. Didn't realize it was that well known. It was huge. Chad Vader, yeah, that was like one of the biggest things on YouTube at that time. Things that were... But you gotta understand, like back then, if something had like 100,000 or 200,000 views, that was a huge video on YouTube. Equals 3, well, Ray William Johnson was like the first really big audience I remember on YouTube, and I liked that was pretty funny. What else? Early YouTube, man. I don't know. A lot of it was just memey stuff. Chris Crocker, leave Britney alone, you know, and I don't know, a lot of weird emo girls. What else did I listen to? There was a girl that played the ukulele, did really good covers of like the Beatles and stuff I liked. Some of the early, like, before they devolved into the degenerate pranks that we have now that aren't really pranks, just people being jerks. Some of that early stuff was okay. The Onion newspaper. Tourette's. You remember Hot for Words? Hello, my dear students. Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff on YouTube that was some, female showing off her assets, let's say, and pretending to teach you something. Although she did actually talk about some interesting words, like the roots of the words where they came from, but that was clearly not what the video was about. Yeah, Hot for Words. Another one that comes to mind was Hannah Minks, who would pretend to teach Japanese. But that's not what the video was about. Flash, yeah, I remember Flash. I remember Flash like way before YouTube. The biggest thing for me when YouTube came out was I finally saw music videos again. I loved stick figure animation. Stick figure ninjas specifically, I wanted to do those and I didn't. I used to draw stick figure comics in high school. And so I drew stick figure ninjas in the 80s. So in the late 80s and early 90s, I was drawing stick figure ninjas, and I did like, the comic was named, the dude's name was Shlomo, and it was a whole thing. He was basically like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but stick figure, but perverted, because it was drawn by a middle schooler, high schooler. Cannibal Unicorn, I don't remember the specifics, but I remember I loved those stick figure animations, and I started working on one, and I never got anywhere with it. But I had a whole like story arc going. It was a horrible story arc, absolutely terrible, but I copied every single action movie. You had Shlomo, who had that bandana like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And I got really good at just drawing him in different like jumping poses and punching, and he would kick, and the other stick figure dude's head would have like a dent in it. But he was flying around on his like hoverboard like the turtles in the arcade game had. And I don't remember what happened, but he fell down a laser pit and he got chopped up by these lasers. And they put him together and he turned into Robo Shlomo, like RoboCop. And that was a whole other thing. But yeah, I used to love stick figure anything. The Adventures of Shlomo. What a name. Robo Shlomo. I don't know. That's too many Shlomos. I remember there was one where he fought and remember, middle schooler. maybe I was a freshman part of that time. I definitely had it in high school, but I went to 8th grade in the same school, so I can't remember. But one time he fought this dude. I don't know why I drew this guy, right? And he was just a stick figure, but he had... I don't remember the damn spell. I think the... Man, I can't even remember how I spelled it, to be quite honest. It didn't have a lot of words in it, Fat Red. It was mostly pictures. He fought this dude. It's almost embarrassing talking about it. He had, like, infinite testicles. He was Testicle Man. And he would throw... He would just keep growing them, and he would throw them. And so Shlomo had to, like, you know, chop him in half and fight off that dude. So that was one of the enemies. It's hard to forget that guy. What can I say? A lot of generic ninjas too, but yeah, that guy stands out in my mind. Like, what the heck? Was I on acid when I was 11 years old? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That's what my dad gets for leaving those issues of Mad Magazine laying around. That's what happens. Okay. Who's the villain of this story? The never-ending Testicle Man, right? Screw that guy. I bet you didn't see that one coming, huh? That was quite a curveball. Sounds like a Mega Man villain. I loved Mega Man, so kind of does sound like a Mega Man villain. And that I definitely was playing Mega Man in that time frame. Or maybe directly before, like 2 or 3 years before that. What else do we need here? We need more trim. More trim. Some random trim pieces. Let's go to the hot wire again. Cut, so that was easy. fabric. Go for it, painting. What's up? What's going on? Where we at? We're right at... Wow, it's that late already? Time actually started moving when I started doing something else, huh? Huh. I don't know, this thing is... At first thought I was like, this is gonna be pretty... I don't know about this thing, but I don't know, I'm kinda liking it. It's starting to get some personality. You can just keep adding little bits to it, and it'll look cooler and cooler, especially once you add some paint to it. Yeah, like Matrix chair, for sure. The 2 hours flew by. Yeah, in the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I was... I'll tell you a secret. When I start streams like that, and I'm not sure what I'm doing at all, I'm sometimes thinking, you know, maybe this will be the night where I'll cut it short. Like, we'll do like an hour or an hour and a half. And almost every time I'll get into something eventually, as long as I just keep myself there, and then the time kind of just goes. Coming together, looking good. Yeah, I think so. This would be one that would look really good with something that I never ever do on here, and that is wires. You know, once you do this and put it together and paint it up, if you had like wires just hanging out and snaking around, that would add a lot to it, I think. I can go ahead and put these on now. Put the stairs on. These might be thin and they might give me problems, but we'll see. Pretty awesome. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking, it's not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's always nice when something with no thought, no plan somehow just pops out. It's just funny. Funny how that works. Should have done this before, but we'll round that over a little bit. Yeah, we're definitely... Where's the pins? Where's the pins? Could still be a high-tech Zamboni, for sure. Definitely. Who knows, guys? Maybe one day when I actually get a full-size workshop, I don't know how that'll happen. Maybe I'll take a random trip somewhere and hit a slot machine, but maybe I'll just have to build a... one of the big projects I'll do is a nice full-size hockey rink so we can have some Zambonis floating around. Sci-fi futuristic hockey? That could work. Cyborgs playing hockey? Definitely could work. They had Mutant League hockey on Sega Genesis. Mutant League football was my favorite one, but... yeah, let's see. Yeah, dude, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Cool, cool, cool. Well, I thought this was actually going to get wrapped up on this show, but it's totally not. But that's cool, because now I have something to not have to think about if I don't plan anything for next show. Or at some point we can work on finishing that. Printer is printing away. I'm doing 2 of these, and they should come out okay since they are one color. Hopefully, hopefully. I don't know what I'm going to do, how to troubleshoot that. I might try swapping out the nozzle. I don't think that's it, but... unfortunately, I only have a 0.2 millimeter nozzle on hand. That's a 0.4. There might be a 0 in there I'm missing. It might be 0.04. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. I really don't want to switch to the smaller nozzle. But I might test it out with that just to see if it works and then order another one. Okay, guys. Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been going now for almost 2 hours. Started a little late. And, yeah, well, this thing looks like it's going to turn into something pretty cool. So, unexpected. That's always nice. I'm going to go back to my 3D printer woes over this week and trying to pump some stuff out. Probably, now I don't think they announced it yet, but I will probably be doing a reveal of some of the stuff that I've been working on that most of you guys kind of already know about on probably Helladope Toys next weekend. Probably. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out, everyone, and I hope that everyone has a fantastic week, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.